Okay, hey, good morning.
Good morning.
Hey, I first like to start off with I want to offer condolences to the Larry Allen family. Obviously, a huge loss for the Cowboys and everybody. And not knowing Larry, obviously remember him as a great player, Hall of Fame player, but just to hear the stories being told about him, last day and a half, it's been really cool. We actually had a video and honored him today in our team meetings, how we started. So I just want to make sure I had an opportunity to speak on the passing of Larry Allen. So with that, I'll take your questions, David.
Mike, David Moore, Dallas Morning News. CeeDee's status, and have you had any conversations with him or expect him here to see him before?
CeeDee's not here today, so. And I'll tell you what, you guys do such a hell of a job with attendance, so I'll make sure you have some work to do at practice. So that's your one for the day, okay? We'll see how good you are. So.
What's different between OTAs and minicamp? What will you be doing differently? How will it look differently at all?
The rules are the same, as far as how you can practice and what you can do. The only thing we're going to do differently is we're going to have the helmets on for periods 1 and 2. Other than that, the structure of what you saw in the OTAs will be very, very similar. It's today and tomorrow will really complete the install phase for us. And as I've always stated, the most important part of these off-season program sessions is connecting the young players with the old players. So that's really what I'm focused on, to make sure that we get all the different things that they see at this point. These are heavy installs. There's a little more moving parts to 7 and 8. 5, 6, 7, 8 are challenging. So we just really want to maximize this time with the rookies and our veterans. So that's what we want to get done this week.
Getting back to CeeDee for a second, I know you've always talked about you respect people handling their business. Does the fact that your offense is the same make it easier for him to miss OTAs and minicamp because he's already kind of abreast of what you guys did last year?
Well, I think when you talk about veteran players, every off-season program that I've been a part of, I mean, the veteran players, some guys have a workout bonus of 85%. So all these things are factored into the planning of the off-season program, because at the end of the day, it's about connecting the young players to the veteran group. That's always been the number one goal for my approach, how the training, how the teaching, everything's set up. So, you have veteran players that may miss or not miss, but they're all engaged. Every one of our players, we've had an incredible off-season program. I mean, the engagement has been 100%, but the quality of work, within the realm that we can practice in and work in, I feel great about it. And I think we can have an excellent day today and tomorrow. I mean, it'll be, we definitely would be above the line of what we're trying to accomplish. So, yeah, so CeeDee and all those types of situations, he's in a business situation, everybody's engaged. And I have no qualms or don't lack no confidence as far as, our vets being ready. My focus is, because right now the younger players are passing the written part of it. They're able to get through the walkthrough, and but let's be honest, we're not going to really know until we get to training camp and see them really go full speed, put pads on, and things like that. So, it's always been about crossing thresholds of your teaching program and so forth. So, yeah, for all the veteran players, they've been engaged, and we'll be in a great spot. It's really about the young guys.
Mike Toddles with ESPN. How has CeeDee been engaged away from there? Has it been similar meetings that you guys have had with Micah and things like that?
He's been engaged. I can just tell you that. He's been engaged.
And then
that's my word for the day. I said it 6 times. So engaged. So.
And with Micah, do you expect him to jump in and do everything as if you've been around?
He's engaged also. So.
It's a different question.
What the hell? You're not going to practice today, or what? You got lunch date or what?
You expect him to do?
Well, check him out. Yeah, check him out.
Mike, what is the next step for CeeDee? You don't talk about players taking like a second-year jump. What is the next thing for a guy that's produced the way he has?
Boy, he's played at such a high level. I mean, just really maintaining the standard, and what a standard he established last year. So, I think just playing to the standard that he's created, and and we all have a responsibility too to make sure those opportunities are in place, but also, boy, what opportunities it creates for others because of the standard that he's established.
And then back to Larry Allen, do you have an interaction, something you saw or heard from another player or coach that will always stand out to you about Larry?
Yeah, everybody always just talked about his power, and then like just seeing the video, and even Mike Zimmer shared some personal thoughts on him too, because Mike and Greg Ellis were both with Larry back in the '90s and the early 2000s. So you see the videos of the bench press and so forth, and the clip against I think it was against the Saints, I think it was Sunday or Monday Night Football, where he runs down to potential pick six. So you see those things, and that's what I remember about him. But to hear them talk about him, and had the one clip of, I think it was 700 pounds on a bench press, and I think it might have been, was it Rocket Ismail or something? I mean, like he jumps on his chest, he doesn't even have the thing racked yet. You're like, oh, did that just happen? So for as impressive as he was with his strength, but Mike had a really cool perspective on him, and I thought it was important for him to share it with the players. So just very, very well respected here in the building.
All right, let's get Patrick engaged.
That's the word. It is. Hey, Coach.
Coachable.
So obviously every rookie class is different, and like you said, you guys have a lot more to come. 4 weeks of training camp, preseason, all that. But you've now had your rookies for rookie minicamp, OTAs. What stands out most about this class to you?
Well, I think like anything, you're looking for that first impression. They definitely have established that. You come in here on the weekends, and you see them in here doing the extra. So then they've done it every weekend too. So no one's fading away. So those are the things I look for. And then obviously the interaction with the coaches. We have the young guy meetings always, at the end of the day. Just to make sure they're engaged. So feel really good about the learning, their ability to communicate, taking really good done really good in the walkthroughs and the extra things that we've done. So they've been engaged very well. But they've done a really good job. So and that's why I want to see how they handle these last two. And we have some other things we'll challenge them with too this week. But yeah, I mean it's. You always say, oh, this is the best draft class we've ever had. I'll just say this, we haven't had one at this point. We haven't had a class that's better than this class, that's for sure.
Real quick follow-up, how does Guyton and BB look in their transition?
Good, very good. I mean, these guys are totally on point. Because you look for the mental part of it more is this the first hurdle you got to get over. So they picked it up really good. Obviously, Cooper's handling the snap count, and it's the snapping is we have work to do there. We just need reps. So yeah, I've been very pleased with what they've done so far.
Jane
Slater, NFL Network. Given CeeDee Lamb's lack of being here this week and for mandatory minicamp, as well as OTAs, what opportunities is posing for guys like Jalen Tolbert? And even last week, we were able to see Deuce Vaughn getting a little work in the slot, something that he says began with the conversation with Shoddy last year.
I think the biggest thing too, obviously the climate that we have to train in, really the receivers are the one group that can really go and probably get the most out of these training regiments that are as part of the CBA Phase 3, and they've knocked it out of the park. I think our young guys have really stepped up. I mean, just the confidence in the route running. Now, granted, the defensive backs can't. We're not getting any engagement at the breaking points and things like that. So, but they've done a really good job. I mean, I've been very pleased with their understanding, the connection in the route running. Obviously all the scheme and the protection as far as the hots and things. So we've been able to work that. Just because more of the training part of it, they've had a great off season. You look at the GPS and all the numbers and things like that. I think our perimeter guys have done a tremendous job.
What do you like about Deuce in the slot? He said he was looking at some video of Cole Beasley. Any other young small slot guys that he reminds you of when you sort of see him out there? And granted, it's early.
Yeah, we'll just get those slot plays drawn up for you, and we'll send it to your Twitter page.
Fans would love that.
Yeah, there you go. Yep. Hey, more you can do. Right. No, he looks good. No, he looks really good. I think just, we try to cross-train a number of guys this off season. This is the time you do it, learning other positions, and we talk about this every weekend here during the season. It's it's that 53-man roster, and when you cut to 48, these are the things that we try to do for these players that do have dual position potential. So, and definitely Deuce is one of those guys.
Saudis with The Athletic. Mike, obviously players miss spring workouts for various reasons, but you've always said that you respect the business side of things. How do you view, as CeeDee's a popular guy in the locker room, how do you view players and how they kind of respond when someone is dealing with that stuff?
Well, I think we all forget that these men are very, very close. I mean, that locker room is a very tight-knit community. So it's, we talk so much about what we do at work, but they have lives away from here that they're totally engaged with, and their relationships and so forth. So yeah, so CeeDee's been around, and so yeah, I think you got to take that into account. And so, like I said, it's a very, very, very close locker room.
Mike.
Michael Gelkin, Dallas Morning News. Jake Ferguson was talking recently about how he's kind of got a feel for what weight he's best at, and just that feeling out process for a young player. What's the importance level of that when you talk about young player development, is identifying where they are best physically and listening to their body?
Yeah, definitely. It's a big part of your job. I mean, I actually, that was my first meeting this morning with Harold Nash, just finalizing the weights for next year. So you take all the information from the spring. Obviously you collected information on your new players. So you take the data that you have, and you come up with a recommended weight, and you sit down and talk to each and every one of them, just to make sure the clarity on what their expectation is. And I think now that, particularly with the young players, now that you see the vision of what their role is going to be, and you can explain the difference between 250 and 255 and the why, just because, with your particular responsibility, we may give you a ceiling and a floor, just because, based on what we're going to ask you to do. And so, that's a normal every year process. And I think it's important to, as these guys learn their bodies, and, you look at Jake, and he's a great example. Because, you look at those tight ends and linebackers, the group that's, 6'3", 6'4", 250, what exactly are they doing? So had a couple conversations is, not only their particular position, but then how much do you project you think they're going to play on special teams? So when a guy plays both special teams and tight end, he's going to probably run hotter on Sundays. So it's a long year. So what does that weight, need to be? And then you got the other components of information that you utilize to make a very educated guess, not guess, but give them a number. But at the end of the day, the final conversation is with them, just to make sure we're all on the same page. But yeah, and I think Jake's a great example of that. He's a guy that's had a lot of responsibility, both special teams and tight end now. But as his tight end position has evolved, you do want to be conscientious of the things he's done well early, and how much of that is he going to do? So I'm not getting that scheme specific, but just really being in touch with. It's a long year, and I think he'd be the first to tell you that at the end of the last 2 years, he's played a lot of ball, and he struggled to keep his weight up.
And then along those lines, Tyler Smith, clarity that he has from a position standpoint and the body type against which he'll face predominantly. What does that clarity do for him, and how have you seen him respond to it?
Sounds like you're in the meeting this morning, Mike. I mean, he's another one. Not only clearly his position, just being in one position, focus as far as between two, because if you're playing guard and tackle, you gotta be in tune with what they're asked to do at that position. Obviously things happen a little faster out there on the tackle, out there on the edge, and so that's definitely a conversation that can affect the weight 5 pounds or 8 pounds. So yeah, so having clarity on that definitely helps, and also I think we acknowledge our division opponents. He's playing against some of the biggest and best defensive tackles in football, for at least 6 games this year. So, I mean, all those things are part of the conversation. And once again, this is all, at the end of it, is sit down with each player and we decide on a weight. Because, you want the weight to be attainable, practical, but also, fit the projected job responsibility the best we can.
Garrett.
Garrett Podell, CBS Sports. Mike, you talked about what young guys can gain with CeeDee not here. What can young guys gain from Micah Parsons being here, both along the defensive side of the ball and maybe the offensive lineman, seeing him across the line of scrimmage?
Well, I mean, it's Yeah, it's 360. Just we talked about it this morning in the offensive meeting because, he's a multiple position player. Is he a linebacker? Is he the open end? Is he the wide nine? So those types of things. So this is great work for the offense, just from a recognition standpoint. Now we're not in game plan mode where we're making those types of protection adjustments, but this gets you as close to real game situations as possible. And obviously the most important part of it is, where he's going to line and how it affects the other guys. So yeah, anytime the multiple position players, it creates a lot of opportunities for the others, but it's just to see how it all fits together.
Calvin Watkins, Dallas Morning News. This time of year, how much do you manage to do kickoff rules, and you got a lot of young guys competing for roster spots? How do you manage that the next few days?
Yeah, to me, that's really part of your design of how you train. I mean, really coming out of the owners' meeting, we were ready to go one direction or the other. And so that's something that's really been evident throughout the whole off-season program. So we've made that adjustment right away once the rule was passed, and we want to make sure John and Stu have plenty of time to make that adjustment, because it's just like anything. I mean, you look at just do the numbers. 20% of the kickoffs were returned last year. We're anticipating maybe it goes up to 60%. So that obviously affects the training both on the kickoff, the kickoff cover and the kickoff return, but also it has to take away from something too. So so you're always juggling those reps.
Todd.
Mike, a lot of guys that have outside specialists that they go to when this stuff is done. What are the conversations that you guys have with those coaches to say, make sure they're teaching the techniques or fundamentals that you guys want?
It's not that, I haven't found that to be too big of an issue, because at the end of the day, the players, they hire those guys. I mean, they're subcontracting to make them better. So, I mean, our players are engaged. That's a big part of making sure these young guys get connected with the veterans is, clearly what their job responsibility is. We don't want them to go, and I don't think they clearly want to go to someone that's going to, teach them everything. We don't want a bunch jack of all trades, master of none. So I think when these guys leave here, they clearly know how they have the vision of what they're going to be asked to do. So that process, in my experience, is kind of taking care of itself.
All righty, thank you.
Thank you.